Hi guys, you're welcome back again to this channel. So today we're going to be having something special. I'm going to be answering questions with a UTME student, one of my students actually, and today we're going to be answering several questions that may be in the mind of several JAMBites, and we're going to be using this opportunity to tackle these questions because many of you don't even know the questions that you have. So we have gathered a list of questions that JAMBites could possibly have, and today we're going to be answering them, and I'm going to be using the opportunity to pour out my wealth of knowledge on you guys. So this video is something you should share and something you should promote, guys. Alright guys, so we have Samuel today and he will be asking me some questions, and before that I just want him to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Samuel Odeyemi Adewale, the 2025 UTME candidate, and I'm here to ask you questions from Tutor Enoch about the 2025 UTME examination and how every one of us or every candidate of 2025 UTME can have 300 plus in the exam, and how we can also gain admission into the topmost university in Nigeria.
I really like one thing you said, gaining admission to the topmost universities in Nigeria. You have to understand that it's one thing to pass your JAMB and another thing to gain admission into universities. Gaining admission into universities can involve certain processes like writing post-UTME exams, or other measures depending on the kind of school you're going to, and it's very good if you eventually do not just gain admission, but gain admission into the school that you want and the course that you want. So yeah, it's a very good feeling. So with that said, let's get into the questions.
Okay, my first question is that what are the key things we UTME 2025 candidates should focus on while preparing for the exam?
Okay, so this depends on what department you are, whether you're in science, whether you're in commercial or art. So the key things you should focus on are, especially in a time like this where it's just 1 month to your UTME, the key things you should focus on, I said this again and again, your high yield materials, that is your past questions, and not just past questions, notes, especially if you attend the tutorial, the notes they give you in that tutorial. But if you don't attend the tutorial, you might want to get like JAMB summary notes or textbooks that offer like summary solutions to some questions or to some topics like lambda theories, or you can find that one that applies to your own if you are not a science student.
So my second question is that what are the common mistakes UTME candidates make during the exam?
Okay, so one thing is, during the exam, you mean like in the exam
or the exam?
Okay, so oh my god, that takes me back to my first JAMB. There was a time that I was writing JAMB and I didn't know that I could use, I think I was using the mouse that was making me slow or something. So you have to be savvy, in like technologically savvy. Try to, there are some I think there are some organizations that do like CBT training and all of that, but it's not too hard. Just know some stuff, ask some people that have written JAMB before, and make use of everything they give you. If you don't understand anything, raise up your hand to ask the examiner. They won't kill you, they won't bite you. Alright, so I think, and don't be in a rush. If you don't understand one question, you can come back to it. Just calm down, be calm, and I think everything will fall in place.
Okay, so my next question here is that, are there any specific topics that JAMB tends to repeat in every year?
Okay, what subjects are you asking for?
Like for physics and chemistry.
Okay, if for that, I made a video on physics already, and if you have not watched the video, you can watch it. And for chemistry, the one for chemistry, I'll release the one for chemistry. So there's no point saying it when you can just watch it. Alright.
How do I handle tough calculations based questions in physics and chemistry?
Okay, tough calculation based question. Like, what do you mean? Just give me an example.
Let me say in chemistry, electrolysis. So let's say I've tried my best to solve the question, but I've not gotten the answer, and I am ought to use 40 seconds for a question.
Okay.
But I discovered that I've used like 3 minutes on that particular question. So what do I do next to cover? And I won't want to just pick any answer. I've wasted time already.
You figure out the question like that, you want to. It's not all questions that as I said earlier, you might just want to skip it and just come back again. What might be happening at that time? It's not that you don't know it, but maybe because you got it wrong the first time, you're not now calm to solve it very well again. So I just advise you to just skip it and come back to it, because you truly know it. You truly know it if that's what you're saying. You get. But if you don't know it, I already taught you the elimination method, how to eliminate answers or options. You can also get that video in my channel.
My next question here is that, is there a way to predict the type of question that may come out in the UTME 2025?
Okay, you have to be subject specific now. Like what subject?
For example, let me say biology. So, like, is there a way for me to know that the production will surely come out in this 2025 UTME?
Okay, there's no way. So when I give you IU topics, I don't know myself if that thing is going to come out, because but I know it's going to come out in one of the days. JAMB spans for more than 1 day, so they bring, and even in a day they have morning, afternoon, and evening session, like four times. So I just know that at least one of those days, which might be your own time, UTME will set questions on those topics. So, but I don't know. I don't just read all the IU topics that I've given you to read, or I'll be giving you. Just focus on the ones I've given you and learn them very well.
So my next question here is that, what subject should we start with first? For example, English. Like, for example, now if someone starts with English, you might waste time on all the 80 questions. So we are advised to start with other subjects. Why some people told us to start with English? So what subject do we start? What subjects can you advise us to start with, sir?
Okay, start with the easier subject. I started with, I think my UTME, the last one I wrote, the very last one, I started with biology. I think I spent 15 minutes and I was done. So I started with the easier subject because I knew it gave me a morale, and that biology I had 84. So it gave me like a morale that, come on, I won't stop with this exam. So start with something that you know that is very easy to you, and it gives that kind of morale that I can do more, like see the amount of questions that I already know. So it boosts your morale. So there's not really any one subject or topic to start, or subject to start with. Start with one that you love most.
Okay, so I think we'll be moving to the admission process and requirements. Okay. So my first question is that, how does admission process work after writing UTME?
So it depends on the school you are going to. You get. So are you going to a public university? Are you going to a private university? Where exactly are you going to? So in schools like you are here now, you have to write post-UTME examinations. There was a time I wrote for FUTA, but I don't think FUTA still writes Federal University of Technology, correct? I don't think they still do post-UTME. I don't know, but you have to find out. So maybe you can drop your your own school so that I can answer your own questions specifically to your own school. But what's the school you're aspiring?
I'm aspiring University of Ibadan.
University of Ibadan. For you, I know after your JAMB, you also do your O-level exams. So your O-level exams should also be, should be good. UI has a benchmark of 5 passes, that is at least 5 C's or better in your 5 main subjects. It's not the WIAC is a criteria for you entering, but it's not going to be calculated with your aggregate. So just your JAMB and post-JAMB that will be calculated with your aggregate. So and UI post-JAMB is 100 questions, I think for 90 minutes, and yeah, you just add your JAMB and post-JAMB 50 over 50. So your JAMB carries 50 and your post-JAMB carries 50. So just drop your school, and I think that time I'll make more videos about these things. Alright?
Okay, so my next question is kind of personal.
Okay.
So the question is that, what is the minimum UTME score required for studying MBBS in topmost university like University of Ibadan?
Okay. Minimum UTME score.
Yes.
There's no real answer to this question, because I've seen many people get 280 something and they still entered for UI MBBS, but it was quite tough for them. But I would say get a 320. I would advise you to get a 320 plus. I had a 324 to enter this school, so I advise you to get a 320. Get a 320 plus. Then you can now be talking of 260. I see 260 on if you have been deceived that 260 is what you need for medicine, especially in a federal government university like University of Ibadan, University of Ilorin, Obafemi Awolowo University, all this University of Lagos, I'm sorry, you have been so deceived. You need higher than that. At least many people tell you get a 300 plus, but I'll tell you get a 320 plus. You'll be on the safer side. And after you get that, that does not mean you rest. It means you buckle down on your post UTME. You prepare harder even for your post UTME. So that's it.
Okay, sir. So my next question is that what should I do if my UTME score is lower than my school cutoff mark?
If your UTME score, okay. So the cutoff mark, one thing that I see JAMB ask a lot, the cutoff mark is not JAMB, it's not a JAMB like kind of something. It's not like over 400. The cutoff mark is like usually over 100. So it is like a aggregate of your JAMB and your post JAMB score. I'm talking about for University of Ibadan now. I think for University of Lagos, I think they do the same. So if you feel like you had below this 320 now and this 3 or this 300 I just said, just get at least don't get below 280 or 290. So but if you feel like you had to be like 300 or 320, there's no need to panic. Just really study hard and ask God for direction for your preparation for your post UTME.
Regarding your answer
to
this question, we'll be taking my next question from your answer that how do university calculate their aggregate scores?
I think I've already given the one for University of Ibadan. Your JAMB score, you divide it by 8, then whatever you divide by 8, because 400 divided by 8 is 50, and your post UTME score you divide it by 2 and also give you 50. Your post UTME score is usually over 100 in University of Ibadan. So let's say I get a 320 now, like the time I got a 324, that was 324 divided by 8, I think that is 40.5. So and I had an 83 in my post UTME exam, divide that by 2, that's 41.5. So 40.5 plus 41.5, that was an 82 aggregate over 100. So that's how to calculate for University of Ibadan. I don't really know for uni Lorraine. You can get most of this information online. Alright, so I just think you should get it online.
Okay, so my last question here in this aspect is that what happens if my first choice university doesn't admit me?
If your first choice university doesn't admit you, then you admit yourself. If your first choice university doesn't admit you, there are better options. Your first choice, I've lost admission before too. So I lost admission when I was chasing medicine and surgery in Federal University of Technology, Akure. So it depends on what you prefer, what you want, and what God has said to you, what destiny path you want to take. So after I got rejected, I knew they offered me physiology, but I knew I never wanted to study physiology. So I doubled down on the next JAMB I wrote the other year, that was in 2022. That JAMB, I made sure that there was no devil that could make me lose an admission. I wrote School of Nursing exam, I wrote exam for UI. I think I was just doing so many things. So be rigorous, like most of the time try to have an option B. I think that was what I was heading towards. But I know you've got to set something that you bring you here and you make sure you enter here. It depends on your relationship with God. But I know you've got to set something, you surely do it, and with your hard work too. So if your first university doesn't choose you, if other schools are still open, apply for other schools. I had some friends that they all wanted to go to OAU, but OAU sent them and they came to UI and they're enjoying UI, and they said if they had an opportunity again, they will never go back to OAU. So but that's it actually. Just go for any other school that is still available that you can still bear. So but if not, just write another UTME. That's what I used to advise people. And when you're writing another UTME, just try several options. Or you can also go again. I've had people that they lost admission in UI and BBS and they went again like twice and they have gotten it now. So it's just depending on what you want, I guess.
So my next question is under subject combination and course advice for UTME. So is it possible to change my course after writing UTME?
Okay, yeah, it's possible. It's actually possible to change your course, but I don't know how many times it is possible now. Yeah, it's possible to change your course and your school self. And yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I think that's the answer to your question.
Okay, so are there other medical related courses I can consider if MBBS doesn't work out?
Yeah, you can I may be biased here, sorry, but I would never advise you to study biochemistry. But you can study courses like pharmacy, you can study courses like nursing, you can study courses like my medical laboratory science, physiology. I just have a personal beef, you understand, with biochemistry. So I can study courses like anatomy, but don't really study anatomy, don't really study physiology. Study courses that are professional, more professional, like maybe MLS, nursing, pharmacy, and yeah, I think those ones are good.
So now my next question is we'll be moving to university and campus. Like, so what are the best university in Nigeria for studying medicine and surgery?
Okay, best university in Nigeria for studying medicine and surgery. I think it's the university I'm currently sitting down in this environment in. Okay, I think it's okay. Let me not be biased. So best university to study medicine and surgery in Nigeria. Hey guys, you guys will want to eat me. You guys are not in my university, but if you actually search Google would give you University of Ibadan Medical Students Association or University of Ibadan as the best university to study. Yeah, I think it's actually true to some extent, even though we're passing through a lot here, but imagine the distinction is 80 over 100 in this university. I think that those are some of the things that make medicine quite tough in this university. Decision is 80 over 100 and system is actually more rigorous, and I think in terms of learning experience, I think University of Ibadan give you almost everything you need because they have been existing for quite a while. So they give you the experience that you need, and the lecturers are very good. I have one particular lecturer. This man reads Kitmo. For those of you that if you're a medical aspirant and you know this, Kitmo, he reads Kitmo 3 times a year. Can you imagine that? And I've never even finished Kitmo as a medical student. But this man reads. So you have people that are hot, people that just come to class, just move stuff, and very good. And also people that are experienced. You hear a doctor say, "I have in my lifetime, I have done this. I have done this." They say, when I went to this particular country, and when I went to the Dominican, I took this picture of this man just to show you in class. Just things that just spike you up and say, wow, I really like this. So I think University of Ibadan gives you that experienced teachers or lecturers that you want, and even the practice. There are some schools that you're studying medicine in, but you don't have a cadaver room. Why would you not have that? So many things that are lacking in some other schools, but I think many of those things are present in University of Ibadan. But I think it's University of Ibadan, not to talk too much. Okay. So after the University of Ibadan, I don't know, maybe University of Ibadan and others, as they say it.
Okay, so my next question is that how can I prepare financially for medical school?
I want to pay financially. Well, if you know that you don't have a great parental support, what I mean by that is probably your parents are not so privileged. You might want to take your own personal finances very serious, because like what I mean is that before medical school, try to learn a skill. There's so many digital skills out there. Engross yourself in learning the skill, and you can start a YouTube channel. You can do many things. This is also a way of making money. So first, find a way to build your own personal finances. Invest in yourself. Read books, read financial books, read books that are related to what you love and what you think is your calling. Also, you can get a job while you are even still building yourself as an entrepreneur. And yeah. There's the last one. Chase scholarships like your life depends on it. Like when you enter school, there's a lot of opportunities. Chase it, apply every Saturday, apply, keep on applying, and you can never go wrong.
Okay, so let me ask a question from your answer now.
Okay.
What are the scholarships available for medical students in Nigerian universities?
Okay, before I entered medical school, I used to hear about the scholarship, AGAMI scholarship, and there are many scholarships, but the popular ones I know are Shell, MTN scholarship, Jimovia, for those people that got a really high JAMB score. Okay.
So my next question here is that how competitive is medicine compared to other courses?
Medicine is very competitive, my dear. Medicine is so competitive. It's not even just in Nigeria. Medicine is competitive all around the world. But medicine is very competitive. Many people want to be a doctor. As an average 5-year-old, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an engineer. So the reality is medicine is competitive. I think during my time, about 2,000 students were competing for a space of 150 students. So me even entering medicine is God's grace. So that's why For everybody that gets in here, that's why people actually respect us, because it's not really easy though, but it's not so hard too. But it's very competitive, I won't lie.
Okay, so my last question is that what are the challenges medical students face and how can I prepare for them?
Challenges, like you want to be specific financially. What kind of challenges?
Not really financially, maybe medically. No, let's
Okay.
go medically.
Okay.
Let me say, for example, maybe the way medical lecturers strike, so stuff like that. How do medical students face them? How do they ace them?
Okay, like strike, especially in public universities. See, if you have money to go to private university, go to private university. Universities like Babalola, Babalola University. Go to them. You will spend your 6 years. You get. And in medical school, our lecturers will tell us that medicine is not actually 6 years, it's 6 plus X. That X can be anything. So some people the X was 1 year, some people the X was 1.5, some people the X was 2 years. But and how can you overcome those strike issues? When they strike, no need. There's nothing you can really do about it. But if you have a student body that can fight against that, I think you should try to do that. One thing I think you should do is that maximize that strike. This is the time you want to even invest more in your personal finances, your personal development, chasing international opportunities. International opportunities, chase them very well, and invest in yourself generally, and still study your books so that you can still retain fresh memory. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to, as much as possible, to do more of this kind of series. And if you want me to do anything else that's really love with this video, and just comment it in the comment section. Please kindly like and subscribe. I think by the time you are watching this, match might have ended, but I have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers before the end of March. Please kindly do well to engage this post. I love you and thank you for watching. Bye.